Welcome to another fascinating edition of Wonderful Wednesdays with Wendi. And today we have our neighbors and friends who we adore, NAMI of Erie County. We have Steve and Samantha here to discuss some newer programming it's newer, right? The youth mental health?
Yeah, newer. And then it's going through an update as well, so all the content's going to be new as well.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. They're going to talk about that really quick. And of course, you will be able to access this on our Facebook page. You will also be able to access it permanently on our YouTube channel, Mission and Power. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Steve and Samantha to talk about the new programming because it's pretty cool and so necessary right now. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
So basically, we at NAMI, just through one of the grants we have, just hosted a instructor training for youth mental health first aid. I know we've been on here before talking about our adult mental health first aid and actually did some with you guys downstairs, but we're really excited to bring the youth mental health first aid curriculum to Erie. It's very similar to the adult mental health first aid, obviously though targeted at youth, which is kind of self-explanatory. And I would like to point out too that this program is not for youth themselves. It's for adults who are in situations where they may need to assist a youth facing mental health challenges or undergoing a mental health crisis. So really appropriate for anyone involved in the school system, parents, sports coaches, Boy Scout, Girl Scout leaders, really anyone that works with youth in some way or interacts with youth in some way. So it is for the adults, not the youth themselves. But really the program is pretty cool in that it's an evidence-based program. So again, proven to have repeatable results, proven to have certain learning objectives hit. And what it really does is it teaches participants how to identify different situations, signs, symptoms, behaviors of youth or young adult that may be developing a mental health issue, undergoing or currently has one, or maybe dealing with a mental health crisis situation as well. So it teaches how to identify those behaviors, but then in addition to that, it teaches how to have a conversation about those behaviors, really opening up the conversation because it's so much easier to do it. If you or me or whoever is kind of facing a mental health crisis situation or challenge, it's much easier to respond when someone asks you if you're doing okay, rather than going up to someone themselves and saying, hey, I need help. So it really opens the door there. But then it really teaches through the ALGE process a lot of how to listen non-judgmentally, how to get as much information as you can, but also how to keep that person feeling safe, feeling comfortable, feeling willing to talk, that sort of thing, which is just as important too. And then what it does is it then teaches you how to keep the person safe until the appropriate professional help would arrive, if it's a crisis situation, or also how to encourage them to, whether it's going to get a diagnosis, continuing with treatment, maybe entering some new treatment, whatever it might be, but it teaches you how to really encourage them to get help and access the services that may help them. So that's essentially youth mental health first aid in a nutshell. The program itself is actually going under a pretty major revamp currently, and it's going to be out very, very soon. So that's going to be cool. It's going to be a lot more interactive, a lot of updated information, updated resources, that sort of thing. I don't think we have a firm ETA on that, but it should be, I would think from everything I'm hearing, it should be available July-ish. And the other cool thing about that too is we're going to be able to offer that both in person. At NAMI, we'll offer them in person with pretty small class sizes just to keep safe social distancing, all that good stuff. But we can also offer it online as well. So that will be rolling out near the end of the month in June. So those are going to be starting up again as well. I know you guys have been talking about hosting a few yourselves because you're trained instructors too now, which is great. And then from there, you know, once we really get into the summer, we plan on having a fair amount of these. Right now we have 2 community trainings scheduled for youth mental health first aid. Those are going to be in August. The reason we're waiting so long is so we can just get a nice client base built up there. But they're currently scheduled for August 7th and then also August 28th. And those are going to be at our office 8:30 or 9 to 5 roughly. We'll still firming up those details on when exactly it's going to start. So if anybody hears this that is interested in those 2 dates, just give our office a call, or you can register online at NAMIErie.org/youth first aid, I believe. Samantha, is that the correct URL?
Yes.
Yes, okay, NAMIErie.org/youth first aid. And then just put your preferred date in there and we'll give you a call and get you scheduled. So that's kind of youth mental health first aid in a nutshell. Did you have any questions about it? Anything that I could further explicate on?
It's not really a question as much as a statement at this point. I obviously have a youth in that's a couple different things. We have had in Union City a loss that could have potentially happened a little bit less if there was training. And I know personally for myself, you know, 11-year-old little girls and their drama sometimes say things, and it gave me the ability to discuss the suicidal thoughts and be able to address it and be like, okay, is this shock value here, or is your head and your brain feeling sick right now? So it is such a hard, difficult subject to discuss and approach, and it was taught in such an awesome manner that really brought the confidence that I needed to work through that with a youth. And for me alone, the process of that, I think any parent should have that in their battery of tools so that they don't have to go through what this family here in town is going through right now. It's just, I can't say enough good things about it. It is very similar to the mental health first aid. It is. However, I think they really took into consideration age, you know, just a different approach because they're smaller. They're not as, you know, grown and adult in their thoughts and their processes. So I really think that it's going to be a huge asset, and I hope you can get it out as quickly as you can to as many people as you can. I was impressed by it, and yes, we are certified, but you know, our intention is still to team up with you because you're the experts. So that's what I said. Yeah, we'll teach it, but you're coming downstairs. You can be with that.
I'll come down.
Yeah. So I know Tracy over here is certified as well, and so I'm looking forward to a long collaboration of her bringing her people and her families and our families and meshing around all these different services together so that families have this holistic approach of what they need to do. And in today's world, youth mental health first training right now is so essential. Once these kids go back to school and they have this new normal, I hate that split. No, sorry guys, my daughter. No. Anyhow, excuse me one moment. I'm gonna mute for a moment.
But yeah, actually just kind of going on with what Wendi was saying too, she kind of brought up 2 points that I think are important to mention too. There is a lot of content about suicide and that sort of thing within the youth mental health first aid training. And I know that can be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but it is really important to talk about that, to recognize any signs and symptoms, warning signs of a potential suicide attempt, and really important to learn how to, you know, ask and to feel comfortable and confident in this conversation. But another point too that I think is important to bring up is, even though this is called youth mental health first aid training and clearly the focus is on mental health and mental wellness. There's a lot of things that you learn in this class that I think are just really valuable in everyday life. Conversation techniques, how to listen non-judgmentally, how to ask questions in a non-accusatory way, making I statements rather than you statements, that sort of thing, that can really help in a situation that's not related to a mental health issue, mental health crisis whatsoever. You know, just having a conversation with your child, maybe asking some questions to get more information. And if you ask them in the right way, they're probably going to be a lot more willing to tell you the truth. They're probably not going to get upset, you know, and they're not going to get angry at you because you're asking them in the proper way. So it's going to be a lot more of a productive, comfortable, fruitful conversation than what it would be if you were not doing these things. So I think it's really important there to acknowledge that even though this is a mental health first aid class, there are just so many tools that you can learn by taking this course that are just going to assist you in your everyday life, just raising your child, or even dealing with adults too, because a lot of it is applicable to adults as well too. So there's a lot of different things or benefit from this program, and not just even specifically mental health.
I agree, totally agree. Oh, do you guys hear feedback? How about now? Better?
Yeah.
Sorry, I could hear me, so that's never good. I would really like to see us somehow get into all of these PTAs, PTOs, and have this class given in every single school district. That is actually a significant goal of mine, because everything that's about to change with these youth going to school, it is not at all going to look like it has ever looked before. And so I really feel that we need to make parents really strong advocates. And I think this is going to give them the support that they need and empower them to do so. And we have to start with empowering the parents to feel, you know, good, so that they can move on and try to help. Because this is going to be, this could be really a hot mess. So we've got to really keep a close look and a close eye on these kids. And so I really think this is something that we should really attempt to bring to everybody. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. And we've had some interest from a couple different schools already. So we're hopeful that whether it's teachers or administrative staff or whoever they want to train, we're more than willing to train. So hopefully as things start to get back going with the school system as well, we can get in there for some in-service days or something like that, train. Because really everybody that works in the school could benefit from this training. It's not just teachers, it's administrators, it's custodial staff, maintenance workers, food service, really anyone that interacts with kids in any way, this training could benefit them. So I think, you know, we're willing to and ready to train as many people as we can.
Oh, what else do you guys have going on over there other than the youth mental health first aid?
Yeah, we've got stuff.
Sure do.
Yeah. So currently we're planning on having a few of our signature programs in July, which is something that we haven't done yet. We've traditionally kept things to kind of a fall / late winter, spring schedule for our NAMI signature programs, but this year we're going to have a session of NAMI basics that will be, let me look at my calendar, starting on
Thursday,
July 9th. So NAMI Basics is a 6-week program. It meets 6 weeks in a row for about 2.5 hours, and really focuses on for parents and caregivers who have a really child, youth, young adult, really up to age 22, it's appropriate for, who are facing mental health concerns. So it really teaches about the school system, identifying signs and symptoms of mental wellness or mental illness, because no formal diagnosis is necessary to enroll in this class. And then how to, again, talk with your kids, really get access to supports that they need to, you know, just really benefit them. It really gets everyone on the same page. A real big point of basics is to really teach parents how to work with the school system as allies rather than adversaries when it comes to individualized education plans, that sort of thing, which really just benefits the child in the end when kind of everybody's on the same page instead of butting heads all the time, that sort of thing. And it also really teaches the parents how to individually advocate for their child as well, just to make sure that they are getting the treatment that they need and really deserve. So that will be starting in July. Again, if you're interested in registering, just go to our website. That's the easiest way to do it, NAMI.org. And the other thing too that's important to mention that I don't know if I have or not, but everything that we offer is free. No cost to participants at all. So basics is free. I'll talk about family to family here in a second. That is free. Mental health first aid is free, both the youth and adult versions. So, you know, we don't really want to deny anyone services because they don't have the money to access them. So that's really important. We don't need insurance information or anything like that. It's just free and easy. And then the other thing we have going on in July too is we'll be doing a session of our family to family program, very similar to basics, though that one is 8 weeks and also more geared towards family members who have adult family members, friends, loved ones facing mental health challenges. So it's not as skewed towards youth, it's more skewed towards people in kind of that same age demographic. That's what we're going on.
I have a chat. Oh, hold on, let me undo it. Better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, feedback. It says from Ms. Carney that she's concerned with brick and mortar teachers and schools officials being able to address youth mental health first aid from online forums, as many schools are working virtually and communication seems less than ideal at best. I was going to type out that, of course, we have been taught how to teach it online, but how do we make sure that they're doing it online, I guess?
Yeah, well, you know, honestly, the online versions presents its own challenges, and especially with the comment towards if they're still doing virtual things online, you know, virtual classrooms, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's quite honestly, it is more difficult. You don't have that face-to-face communication. You can't really read body language as well. I believe in the upcoming, because the virtual instructor training we did is a little bit different than what the virtual module is going to be. There's a new training coming out, I think, on Monday about that. So I believe in that training, they're going to address ways to really put this together over the internet, different techniques you can use, that sort of thing, because it's going to be really important to be able to, you know, maybe pick up on some other visual cues, have more in-depth conversations via virtual format, because I think we all know that it's a little bit different talking online, doing things online than it is in person. It just feels weird. What might be a normal pause in the conversation, which is something that we've noticed as well, in person becomes very awkward online. Like if we all just stop talking for a second, everybody gets a little bit uncomfortable. But if we were all in person, that wouldn't happen. So I think it's important that, you know, and as instructors, we'll definitely bring that up, that, you know, even if it feels awkward to you, to give a 2 or 3 second pause for somebody to respond, that sort of thing. It's going to feel awkward, but just let that awkwardness happen, because it's going to give them a chance to respond, think about their answer, that sort of thing. So we'll address things like that as well, just to make sure that, you know, we kind of adapt as best we can for the virtual environment.
And they did a really good job at addressing that actually in the training, because that was something I got dinged on. He said, you can tell that one, you teach, and do you have a podcast? Because you don't do dead air. So it was something that as the instructor was teaching me how to instruct, that he was like, okay, so it's okay. You have to give them the opportunity. And instead of asking, are there any questions, you need to rethink how you are teaching and just being like, hey, I need 2 questions before we can go. Somebody give me one, kind of a thing process. Mm-hmm. So I think that NAMI did a really good job at training the trainers. So I think it's going to be really good, and it's evidence-based. There's fidelity in the program. People aren't going to be, training differently. Like the way you do it is the way that I do it, the way that Jessica does it, the way that Tracy does it. So I'm very excited about the program. Yeah. So what else do you have going on in the world of NAMI? In the world of NAMI,
we actually are doing our golf outing.
I know that's going to be.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be on June 26th. That's our largest fundraiser of the year. We've gotten a great response so far from people. They're excited to get out, golf. Obviously, we're taking a lot of safety precautions that we haven't had to in years past, just to ensure safety for everyone. Social distancing is going to be enforced. The golf carts are actually going to have plexiglass between the seats. So it might be more difficult to talk to your golf partner, but hey, it's safety. So that should help too. And then we're doing some different things with how we distribute the food, drink distribution, that sort of thing as well, just to prevent any sort of contamination, that sort of thing. So we are taking a lot of safety precautions for it too.
I'm very excited, and we hope to also announce that on our website for you and our Facebook page that that's still going on, because to be able to fundraise right now in this climate is a huge ordeal and an undertaking, and I think it really says a lot that you're being supported and you're having the turnout that you're going to have.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. We've got a lot of positive feedback from people about it. So we're excited. It's obviously going to be some differences, but it's also exciting because it's going to be kind of a day of normalcy for a lot of people. And I think, we all need that once in a while.
I know we as a team are looking forward to being able to go out and do something as a team and support our partners and see what the climate and everything kind of looks like right now, because I know that there's been a lot of thought put into this and how to work around the guidelines. So super excited. What else do you have going? I know you've got more. I know you do.
I feel like my whole life has just been golf these past couple weeks, so I don't know.
What else is going on? We actually, probably unrelated, but still useful to get out there, Samantha, if you want to talk about Homefront that's launching in September briefly.
Yeah, so we are launching our pilot session of NAMI Homefront, which is for families of veterans and active duty service members that are experiencing either a mental illness or some sort of traumatic brain injury directly due to their service. So it's for their family members and their loved ones, trying to help them get back into normal life and get back into just their daily routines and everything like that. So I think that's really cool. And we've really just been trying to promote that to get the word out and help everybody with this program. That one is 6 weeks. I don't know if I mentioned it, but once again, it's completely free. We don't take any sort of money for it, completely free to participants. So it'll be a really great program, and it is starting in September. Let me find the date for you real quick. But it will be a really cool program. I know our teachers are really excited to start with it, and we're really excited to be able to host it because it's gotten a really great response. I believe, especially nationally, but it's gotten a really good response. So we're excited to be able to host it for everybody. And that will be starting September 16th will be the first class.
And one of the cool things about that too is the families with, veteran that may have kind of younger kids, whatever, adolescents, there might be a lot of awkward questions or, why is dad or mom like that, if it's related to PTSD or depression or any type of thing. So really part of the focus there is getting the entire family on the same page, being able to answer those, awkward questions of why does dad do this sometimes, or things like that, and put it in an appropriate way so it doesn't scare the child, make them uncomfortable, that sort of thing. So that's a really important aspect of it too, is just kind of bringing the family together to support the loved one facing whatever the challenge might be.
Are you looking for the families to take this, the veterans to take this, or both together?
Primarily intended for the family members of the vet. So, the spouse, a parent, an adult child. Again, to take this, you have to be 18 plus. But it really, or friends and family. It doesn't have to be a direct family relation for any of our programs. Family to family. If one of your best friends is facing some sort of mental health challenge, you are free to take family to family, even if you don't have that direct family connection. Same with basics. If there is a child in your life, maybe a godchild or something like that, that you really work with closely, interact with a lot, and want the skills of basics, you don't have to be the parent, the grandparent, the primary caregiver. As long as you know a child facing these problems, you are free to take basics as well. So we keep them as open as possible to people to, if you want this education, we want to give it to you. So yeah, it's as open as it can be.
And then do you still have your support groups going on?
Yes, we do. We have our COVID support group, which runs every day or weekday, Monday through Friday at noon, via Zoom, really easy to access. You can just go to our homepage, NAMIErie.org, and it's really hard to miss. It's right at the top. You just click on the link and it'll take you right there. So we've gotten a pretty good response from that. Talk about whatever you'd like that's COVID related, whether it's stress from loss of income, depression from social isolation, or really anything like that. Even honestly, if you just need to socialize for a little bit, talk to somebody because you've been isolated for quite a bit, you're more than welcome to do that as well. We just want this to be as supportive. Obviously, this is a challenging, unprecedented time for everybody with what's going on, but we just want to make sure that everybody is getting the kind of support that they need to help them get through this and come out on the other side, hopefully mentally healthy and well. So we've got that going on. Starting in July, again, we'll probably be starting up our in-person support groups too. Again, obviously following all guidelines with social distancing and everything like that. So we have a peer support group, which is for adults 18 plus with mental health challenges. Again, no formal diagnosis is necessary. And that runs the first and third Tuesday or Monday of every month at our office from 6 to 7:30. Then we also have a family support group that runs the first and third Tuesday of every month, 6 to 7:30 at our office as well. Obviously for family members, 18 plus there too. And no registration necessary for that. You can come as often or as little as needed. And those have been going on forever. Again, a little bit of a hiatus with Corona, but we're excited to start those up again too.
Awesome. Super cool. So I think that covers a super lot. So last but not least, because we are federally funded Community Parent Resource Center here at Mission Empower, you will be getting sent a SurveyMonkey after this session. And if you could simply just fill that out and get it back to us, that allows us to continue bringing you programming that we feel that you would like to see as far as finding resources in the community to meet your needs. So if you don't mind doing that, that would be great. Steve, I can get you the numbers of what the SurveyMonkey says, because of course it is just talking about quality kind of things, which of course quality is awesome as always in my view. Other than that, next week, I believe we are going to be doing SafeNet. It's either going to be SafeNet or Family Center. It's one or the other. So I will let you know as soon as I know. Okay. Other than that, does anybody have 2 questions? I need 2 questions. Let's go. 2 questions. Can't leave until we have them. Come on.
From Samantha and I, or somebody else?
For you two, yes, you can ask each other.
I always have a question.
She's got a question, Miss Carney.
Yes, I always have a question. You ask and I will provide. One of the things that I'm very concerned with lately, what I didn't say was that I have a teenage daughter at home.
Mhm.
And we're facing all sorts of, that's my concern about on-ground schools, is that her brick and mortar just really seemed to drop everything when it came to us. She's been home since March, and I don't really feel supported or listened to by her school. She's not someone who's labeled as needing any particular special help. She's in fact in a few like super advanced classes. The advanced classes continued to pound her with work, even though she didn't really have a source to learn it from. So she had assignment after assignment after assignment. And our difficulty is that she's at one of these schools that provide an iPad. And so I'm like, well, you got all your work there, go to it. And she's got her office across the living room from my office. And I'm sitting there doing my clicky clacky work. And I'm like, okay, go ahead, do your work. But she's a high school freshman. So my concern with mental health is I'm wondering if this technology feed that they're constantly involved in is affecting them. Because I was actually just watching a TED Talk about how social media really does kind of like wreck people's personal sense. And so attached to that is the question, you know, like, does it really affect them that negatively? And if so, what would be like a good parameter? Because frankly, she's not getting anything until August.
Mhm.
That's where I am. She's got a flip phone that she can use for emergencies and play her music on. That's what she gets.
Yeah, social media, I mean, obviously it's been talked about pretty consistently since it started. Social media can have a lot of negative effects, especially during this time, because that's so many, how so many kids, people, everyone is staying in touch. But the kind of the downside there of social media is we all really present our best selves, our idealized selves, who we want to be, but not necessarily who we are. And the important distinction there is, you know, it's easy to look at your Facebook feed and then be like, oh, everyone's life is perfect, but here's mine. And it's not that good. It's not that perfect. I must be falling behind. I must not be cool, whatever it might be. But I think it's important to realize that, you know, we're only seeing the stuff that they want us to see. We're not seeing any struggles they're having. We're not seeing any pitfalls that may have kind of impacted them, anything that's gone wrong, that sort of thing. So and it's nice to be able to control the message, but also we put a lot more control on it than we probably should. You know, we just want to be impressive. We want to be looked at, especially you know, in that age group, that high school age group, where peer pressure, social pressure, the pressure to be cool, be popular, whatever it might be, is so high that, yeah, there can be definitely a lot of negative impacts there, especially from kind of even a keeping up with the Joneses mentality. You know, whoever accomplished this, now I need to do something better to one-up them, so I'm cooler than that sort of thing. So that is definitely something to watch out for. But I do like to point out too that social media can also have a lot of positive impacts on people when done properly. Now, it is a good way to keep in touch with people, especially during this time. It's a good way to really, you know, just find support, whether it's from your friends on Facebook or whatever it might be, but also different support groups are on there that you can, you know, post in, receive comments, almost like a support group via text type situation. So there can be a lot of positive communities on social media as well. You know, it's also important to be a part of those communities rather than the communities that are not as positive. So, you know, and obviously it's a fine line on how much monitoring you do, as a parent, guardian, adult of your child on social media, because obviously, frankly, let's be honest, none of them want you in their business. But it is important to at least be aware at a certain level of what they're doing on Facebook, on Twitter, whatnot. And you know, it's fine if it's for you to give them permission to use social media, that you need to know those things. You can make that a factor in whether they can be on Facebook or Twitter or whatever or not, is that you get, you know, you can ask to see what they're doing type situation. So if you are concerned, you can ask. So I think it's important to really put some boundaries on when these, you know, youth, especially younger ones in 7th, 8th grade, what boundaries they can use for social media. You know, I have to have access to your account. You can only use it for an hour or two a day or at certain times or whatever it might be. You know, whatever works best for your family and your child, you know, just honestly do it and keep them safe, keep tabs on them, that sort of thing, just to make sure that they, you know, aren't experiencing any sort of online bullying or whatnot.
All right, and we're going to give you credit for both questions, because that was a good
Right. 2 for 1.
Right there. Because that's a doozy. I mean, social media is a doozy. Don't get me started, because, you know, my daughter just spent $400 on Minecraft this week. So, we're not even gonna. Yeah. Not even. Yeah. So we shall wrap this latest episode of Wonderful Wednesdays with Wendi. And I want to thank you all for coming. Once again, you'll be able to still reach this and replay this, and the information is still going to be valid. We are going to be emailing out that Survey Monkey for you, if you don't mind taking the less than 2 minutes to fill that out and complete it, so that we can keep bringing you this content. And join us again next Wednesday at 3 o'clock for another guest speaker to tell us about what they have going on right now during COVID-19 and how their services are bending and shaping to meet the current needs at hand. All right. Thank you all, and I hope to see you soon. And meanwhile, take care. Okay?